Alyssa Schroeder. Queen is a unique and societal norm-breaking band that most people know of, but not many people know about. If you've ever been to a sporting event or listened to the radio, you probably know who Queen is, and if you don't know the name, then you probably know some of their hit songs such as We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, or their most popular, Bohemian Rhapsody. Their classic lineup consisted of British singer-songwriter Freddie Mercury, English musician and astrophysicist Brian May, English musician John Deacon, and English musician, singer, and multi-instrumentalist Roger Taylor. Before Queen, Brian May and Roger Taylor played together with the band Smile. Freddie Mercury was a band of Smile and encouraged them to experiment with more elaborate stage and recording techniques. He joined in 1970 and suggested the name Queen. Deacon was recruited in February in 1971 before their band released their eponymous debut album in 1973. Queen first charted in the UK with their second album, Queen 2, in 1974. Sheer Heart Attack later that year, and A Night at the Opera in 1975 brought them international success. The latter featured Bohemian Rhapsody, which stayed at number 1 in the UK for 9 weeks and helped popularize their music video format. The founding members of Queen met in West London during the late 1960s. Guitarist Brian May had built his own guitar with his father in 1963 and formed a group later that year. May left the group in early 1968 to focus on his physics degree in infrared astronomy at Imperial College and to find a group that could write original material. He formed the group Smile. To complete the lineup, May placed an advertisement in a local college notice that searched for a Mitch Mitchell/Ginger Baker type drummer. Roger Taylor, a young dental student, auditioned and got the job. Tim Staffel, a member of Smile, was attending Ealing Art College, where he met Freddie Balsara, who we know as Freddie Mercury. Balsara had studied fashion design for a year before switching to graphic art and design, and soon became a friend of Smile. He asked if he could join the group as the lead singer, but May felt that Staffel would not give up his position. Later that year, Staffel gave up his position because he felt that his R&B and soul interests didn't match the group's hard rock style. The remaining members accepted Balsara as the lead singer. The four played their first gig at a fundraising event in Truro in 1970. Balsara suggested the group should go by Queen. The others were uncertain at first, but he said, "It's wonderful, dear. The people will love it." At the same time, he decided to change his surname to Mercury, inspired by the line, "Mother Mercury, look what they've done to me," in the song My Fairy King. The group played their first gig in London of 1970. The early set consisted of material that would later appear on the first 2 albums, along with various rock and roll covers. In February 1971, John Deacon joined Queen. In addition to being a seasoned bassist, his quiet demeanor complemented the band. He was skilled in electronics. On July 2nd of 1971, Queen played their first show with the classic lineup of Mercury, May, Taylor, and Deacon at a Surrey college outside of London. May called an engineer at Pye Studios, where Smile had recorded, to see if he knew anywhere that Queen could go. The engineer had since moved to D. Langley Studios' new premises in Wembley. They needed a group to test out the equipment in recording rooms. He tried asking the Kinks, but he couldn't get a hold of them. Therefore, he told Queen that they could record some demos in exchange for acoustic tests. They recorded 5 of their own songs: Liar, Keep Yourself Alive, Great Rat King, The Night Comes Down, and Jesus. During the recording, John Anthony visited the band with Roy Thomas Baker. The latter thought Keep Yourself Alive would be a hit and started trying to interest recording companies. They then came up with a deal with a studio that allowed them to use their facilities while managed search for a label for them. Queen began in 1972 with a gig at Bedford College, London, where only 6 people turned up. After a few more shows, they stopped live performances for 8 months to work on their album. They could only record in the studio in downtime, which was normally from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. During the sessions, they saw David Bowie with Spiders from Mars live and realized that they needed to make an impact with their first album, where they would be left behind. The album was a mix of heavy metal and progressive rock. Queen promoted the unreleased album in 1973 on BBC Radio, still unsigned. In the following month, their friend from the studio managed to strike a deal with EMI Records. Keep Yourself Alive was released as a single on July 6th, with the album Queen appearing a week later. The album was received well by critics. Gordon Fletcher of Rolling Stone called it superb, and Chicago's Daily Herald called it an above-average debut. However, it drew little mainstream attention, and Keep Yourself Alive sold poorly. The group began to record their second album, Queen 2, in August of 1973. Now able to use regular studio time, they decided to make full use of the facilities available. The group spent the remainder of the year touring the UK. The tour ended with 2 shows at Hammersmith's Odeon on December 14th, playing to 7,000 people. Queen 2 was released in March and features Mick Rock's iconic Dietrich-inspired image of the band on the cover. This image would be later used as the basis for Bohemian Rhapsody's music production. The album reached number 5 on the British album chart and became the first Queen album to chart in the UK. The Mercury-written lead single, 7 Seas of Rye, reached number 10 in the UK, giving the band their first hit. The album featured a layered sound which would become their signature. The album signature and features long, complex instrumental passages, fantasy-themed lyrics, and instrumental virtuosity. The group ended their early 1974 UK tour with a show at the Rainbow Theatre on March 31st. The band's 1977 album, News of the World, contained We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, which have become anthems at sporting events. By the early 1980s, Queen was one of the biggest rock stadiums in the world. Another One Bites the Dust became their best-selling single, while their 1981 compilation album, Greatest Hits, is the best-selling album in the UK and is certified 9 times in the US. Their performance at the 1985 Live Aid concert is ranked among the greatest in rock history by various publications. In 1986, Mercury's last performance with Queen was at Nebworth, England. In 1991, he died of bronchopneumonia, a complication of AIDS. Deacon retired in 1997, and since 2004, May and Taylor have toured under the name Queen Plus with vocalists Paul Rodgers and Adam Lambert. Queen have been a global presence in popular culture for more than 4 decades. Estimates of their record sales range from 170 million to 300 million, making them one of the world's best-selling music artists. In 1990, Queen received the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to Blues Music. They were introduced to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001, and with each member having composed hit singles, all 4 were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2003. In 2005, they received the Ivor Novello for Outstanding Song Collection from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors. In 2018, they were presented the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award.